Hey guys, it's Zach here and welcome back to another review video. Today we'll be reviewing the RTX 5060 8GB model, and I picked up myself here today the MSI Gaming Trio in White Edition. I was surprised because the White Edition of this GPU was almost the exact same price as at their black GPU, which is weird to say because most white GPUs are more expensive most times around. And I want to answer two questions about this GPU. First of all, is it as bad as everyone says it is? Because Nvidia did a weird naming scheme with their 5060 and their 5060 Ti, where if you want to get yourself the 5060 Ti, you want to make sure to buy the one with 16GB of VRAM because they made an 8GB model too, which just seems silly. I feel like they should just made the actual 16GB model only for the Ti and then the 8GB model only for this GPU in itself. But 8GB of VRAM doesn't really do a whole lot for gaming nowadays, especially 1440p. So I want to see if this GPU is as bad as everyone says it is. And the other question I want to answer is this GPU better than the RX 9060 XT 16GB model? And we're going to compare those two GPUs together later here and see which one is actually better. So if you don't want to miss out on that video, definitely get subscribed. Now, when we're unboxing this GPU, I will talk about its specs because the specs are very interesting. I just feel like the specs for this GPU are not great compared to like previous GPUs. Like the 3060, I feel like is the last GPU Nvidia released that was an actual banger, because this GPU has 8GB of DDR7 memory. It's not like the DDR7X memory that came out recently that's surprisingly way faster than the other variations, but it's only on the higher end GPUs. So there's that. And it only has like 3,840 cores and a 128-bit memory bit bus, which is good, but nothing insane. Then again, the RX 9060 XT 16GB has the same memory bit bus of 128. But here's the GPU, how it looks like out of the box, which is pretty nice. You get the little GPU in itself, which is awesome. You can see here. Then on top of it too, a manual for your GPU. And I'm actually kind of surprised. They actually provided a little standoff for your GPU. So you can really just turn it like to yourself. Then you can pull up to just the height of it. So you don't have any GPU sag, which is nice because a lot of GPUs now are getting extremely thick and long. Now there's a bit of peel on the top here, which we're gonna have to remove. So there's peel on the back. We can just unpeel this. There's also some peel on the top here too, which we have to remove. This GPU though looks extremely good. I will just quickly say though, like I will say the white model of the cards are awesome. Compared to the ASRock card, I think this one's just slightly better. Now the one thing good about this GPU compared to the 9060 XT, which they cut costs on, was actually having 4 ports instead of 3, because the RX 9060 XT only had like an HDMI and 2 display ports, while this GPU has 1 HDMI port and 3 display ports. First game we're testing is Apex Legends. Now, I maxed out everything on high using all the VRAM for this GPU. So it'll be interesting to see on how good the FPS will be on actually 1080p with 8GB of VRAM. Now, supposedly Ultra Settings is using more than 8GB of VRAM at times, so I don't know how our FPS is gonna actually be. And I'm also using an older CPU too, the 39X, 12 core, 24 thread. It's showing its age. Our FPS is like over like 100 FPS, which is good, but it's not like too great. It's like 120-ish, which is awesome, but like it's not insane. Talk about being a rock in a hard place. Okay, this guy's just flexing at this point. I'm dead. There's no shot I'm winning against that. FPS was alright. The next thing we're gonna do is Apex Legends on the lowest settings possible so we can get the most FPS possible. I'm really hoping we get more than 160 FPS. I would expect 180 to 160 maybe, and at best near 240. It really depends. If we were using an AM5 CPU, we'd probably get significantly more FPS. There we go. So we're right now balancing around over 150 FPS to maxing out around like 170. So yeah, I don't know. I was expecting a little bit more out of Apex Legends in the 50 series card. I do feel like there's a little bit of a bottleneck from the CPU side, but even then, like, I would expect the FPS to be way more. I know when I tested my CPU of the 9060 XT, I got more FPS. It wasn't like insane amount. It was pretty much like similar. I think I got like, on average, 160 to 170. Are you serious right now, bro? This alter is so ratty-tatty, bro. He's just like out-joking me barely. Oh, why are you running? Don't run into me with the arrow, bro. That arm, give me armor shield, so annoying. Dude, that's so stupid. Give me armor shield, just ate 2 of my massive shots, lovely. Yeah, so the next thing we're testing is CSGO. Now keep in mind, I have CSGO set to actually medium settings just for the time being, just to kind of see how the GPU performs, because it's gonna be a very interesting take, because I don't know how this is gonna do, I'll be honest with you. But it plays good, it feels smooth, but the FPS is like meh. I'm definitely thinking there's a CPU bottleneck. When we do our video later with the 96X, it'll be way better. But for the time being, we're just running into a CPU bottleneck by a long shot. Like originally I was thinking about waiting to do this test video with the GPU until I built the new PC, building a wall-mounted PC for a test bench, which I thought would be cool. If you guys do want to see a separate video on that, let me know by smashing the like button. If we get over 50 likes, I will do a separate video on that. Okay, so I'm just gonna quickly say it. CSGO with this GPU-CPU combo is meh. The GPU itself is definitely being bottlenecked. I'm not particularly impressed with the results though, to say the very least, this GPU still. So let's go over my final thoughts on the RTX 5060 8GB. Do I think it's good? Do I think it's bad? Let's get into that. So first of all, I just want to quickly say it. My gaming test did not go as long as I wanted to with this GPU. And the reason why was that is because I was kind of disappointed with the results. I don't feel like it was most of the GPU's fault. I feel like it's most of the CPU's fault because the 39X was showing its age. But at the same time too, I do feel like the GPU had a little bit of disappointment to it. Now, if you do go with an AM5 CPU, you will get more value in FPS out of this. But at the same time too, if you're going with an AM5 actual CPU and a new PC build, I wouldn't recommend this GPU unless you need a feature from Nvidia and their actual GPUs for under $400. That's the only reason I picked this up here, because I wasn't going to use it for its actual video encoder for actually a stream PC for a podcast I'm working on. That's the only reason I picked up this GPU. If I was going to go with a different GPU for actually like gaming and stuff like that, I'd probably go with the 9060 XT 16GB model, because that GPU was fantastic for gaming. I actually threw it in my brother's PC as an upgrade for his 2060, so hopefully I get good brother points for that. But the other thing with it is too, is that I would go with maybe a 5060 Ti or even a 5070, because if you pay $50 more, you can just go for a 5070, 12GB of VRAM, has way more cores, way more performance out of it. The price market for like $200 to like $400 for actually good GPUs is kind of rough right now. The only really good GPUs right now in that market are like the 9060 XT 16GB, the Arc B580 12GB model, and supposedly those are coming back in stock, which is nice. Supposedly what I was told at Micro Center from one of the managers is that they are selling more 5060 Ti's than actually this GPU in itself. But yeah, I'm curious to see how this GPU will actually perform against a 9060 XT when we do test it against it with actually the Ryzen 5 96X. So if you don't want to miss out on that video, definitely get subscribed. But I'll see you guys from everyone. Tech Grant out.